I believe it's time to say goodbye as well to our SABC2 viewers, but like Leanne said, there is still an extra 30 minutes on DSTV channel 404. Please do join us as well. Continue to tell you more stories on Krotoa as we hear to repatriate her soul back to the castle of Good Hope. But just before we do that, I believe there is some few minutes for us to fit in the interview. Let me just talk to Dr. Evet Abrahams here this morning. She is one of the descendants of Krotoa, and she will just talk to us about the article that she wrote that was controversial. Dr. Abrahams, good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. I want to start by saying I remember Kwezi, and I think it's important to remember Kwezi because the story that I told of Krotoa was around gender-based violence. I was the first Khoisan woman to write on Krotoa's story, and I think it says something about our marginalization and oppression as a people, that it took us 330 years to begin to produce professional historians who told our own story. And of course, when you approach a history not from a white supremacist point of view, but from the point of view that the Khoisan are people with a culture, then there were all these huge questions that arose around the story that Jan van Riebeeck tells in his journals. Why would a mother and a family hand over a young girl, somewhere between 13 and 15, to be a servant in Van Riebeeck's house? What kind of people do that? And you can see it only makes sense if you assume that these people are half animals, not completely sentient, having no love for their young. But the minute you say, but the Khoisan are people, it doesn't make any sense. And so I looked back in Van Riebeeck's journal, which is quite a psychotic document, but some 3 months before Krotoa starts to appear in the journal, there's a story of a boat trip on the Salt River and wanting to exchange beads and tobacco with a group of Khoisan in exchange for something, and they didn't want to take it. 3 months later, she comes up as a servant in Van Riebeeck's house. Why would she be a servant in Van Riebeeck's house?
So are you saying there's something that we're not being told in this whole scenario?
What I was doing was looking at the silences in the journals and in the white supremacist story of our people. And I was saying these silences speak volumes. They don't ask, was Krotoa's family not concerned about her?
Another thing that comes, sorry for rushing you like this, Dr. Abrahams, but what we read is that she died an alcoholic and she was into prostitution. Is that a reality?
What I said in the article is I can't prove rape because that's never admitted in the journal, but I can definitely prove rape trauma syndrome. And I give a description of the symptoms of rape trauma syndrome. It's a form of post-traumatic stress that you suffer from when you're raped. And I said, think of alcohol as Mother Krotoa's way of self-medicating the trauma that she went through. The fact that she left the castle for many years but came back speaks to a need to re-explore the trauma. Try and imagine a matriarchal people, a people that practices gender equality, where rape is unknown. And suddenly this thing happens to you and you have a need to re-explore it. When you read Mother Krotoa's story through that lens, it starts to make a lot more sense. The marrying the man that she did, the having children with him, the very early death, and the pain that she went through.
Right, no, that's where we're going to leave it. But thank you so much to Dr. Evet Abrahams. She is one of the descendants of Krotoa. We'll be speaking to the Khoi traditional leader, Dr. Vila Busak, who will tell us about the significance of the ceremony that is to be held under this very same tree in front of us here. Well, that's it from now. But if you do have access to Channel 404, do join us for an extra 30 minutes. It's a good